One Zambia, one nation. Welcome to Zanis News. I'm your presenter, Mwangala Kapandula. Let's take a look at the headlines. Houses collapse in Kabompo district. Over 300 persons living with disabilities benefit from community-based rehabilitation program. Teaching Service Commission concerned with indiscipline among teachers. Traditional leader allegedly performing rituals on women in exchange for land. Zanis News in detail. Several houses in Kamafwafwa ward in Kabompo district, Northwestern Province, have collapsed after heavy rains. District Disaster Management and Mitigation Committee chairperson, who is also District Commissioner, Herbert Chinyanga, says over 16 houses in Kambole village have been submerged in water, leaving the occupants homeless. Speaking when he visited the affected residents, Mr. Chinyanga advised the affected people not to construct houses in waterlogged areas. He, however, encouraged them to construct permanent structures which are able to withstand the effects of climate change. He further said that government will do everything possible to try and assist the affected households through the provision of tents as they wait to reconstruct their structures. Still in Northwestern Province, Ikalengi Town Council Chairperson Joe Chizuza has urged management at the local authority to ensure that they deliver projects in the district in line with the desires of the members of the public. This follows the approval of over 15 million kwacha worth of community projects to be erected using the Constituency Development Fund. Victor Mwila reports.
Lying on the fringes of the country, in one of the furthest corners of Northwestern Province, Ikelengi has continued lagging in development for many years. Members of the community are hungry to see improvement to the town and are calling on Ikelengi Town Council to help bring change. 15 million kwacha worth of community projects under the 2023 Constituency Development Fund, CDF, have been approved.
Chona isakiriri nankasha nankani ha CDF muronga kumashikora anainya munuku atushina kaji anakuinya munaku dichumwana chona isakiriri hama akanso na wachona okenga zati swai murotu moni nyitai kwao nyitai mwekani kudancho ejima mwana.
When you talk of schools that they are building in these other places, or we talk of health posts that they are building, I think by this year, these projects that they are doing, I think there must be done.
Ikelengi Town Council Chairperson Joe Chizuza has warned council management against complacence.
So we don't expect management to delay implementing projects like the case has been in the past because of the fact that the necessary paperwork has been concluded. So once the money comes, it's just a matter of giving ourselves targets and the time frames within which we must do these things.
Management at the local authority believes the team is equal to the task.
So once we start receiving the funding for 2023, the procurement committee shall commence, and we anticipate that even the 2023 project, we should be able to be done with them before the onset of the next rain season.
The CDF, which has been increased to 28 million kwacha per local authority, is finally shining some ray of hope on the rural border town. Victor Mwila for Zanis in Ikelengi, Northwestern Province.
Now, government has disbursed about 1.9 million kwacha to 22 cooperatives in Washa constituency using the 2022 Constituency Development Fund, CDF. The beneficiaries are small and medium-scale enterprises who have formed cooperatives to grow the business sector in the district. Karen Mushenwa has the details in the following report.
The government has disbursed 1.9 million kwacha to 22 cooperatives in Luansha constituency using the 2022 Constituency Development Fund, CDF. Cooperative members will first undergo training in financial management before receiving the loans through National Savings Bank, NatSav. CDF chairperson handed over the letters of approval to the beneficiary cooperatives.
And that this business that we your SME or cooperative are engaged in will not only grow your business, but will empower others as you offer employment, as you offer a service to our community, and we become people of change under the current government.
The beneficiaries have thanked government for the support.
Companies are formed, more jobs are going to be created, and more revenues to the government. So thank you very much.
I love our business. With this, we fly.
But for the first time, we are going to have processed wood, not just processed wood, wood and tiles exported to Switzerland and South Africa, which is a good thing. So value addition, job creation, and also contribute to the taxpaying. Sorry, we are taxpayers. So it's a good benefit.
This activity marks an end to the 2022 CDF projects for Luanshya constituency. Karen Mshenywa, Zanis, Luanshya district.
Zanis news continues. In Southern Province, over 300 persons living with disabilities in Monze district have benefited from the Zambia Enhanced Community-Based Rehabilitation Program. District Project Coordinator Beverly Mkandawire has called on other stakeholders to come on board and support initiatives that are aimed at improving the lives of the persons living with disabilities in the country. More in the following report.
Persons with disabilities face a number of challenges in their daily lives. However, the introduction of the Zambia Enhanced Community-Based Rehabilitation Program, ZECREP, in Monze district has improved the quality of life for persons with disabilities and their families through agricultural support.
Turalima tomato, then tomato etomana wirima, turaisambala, then turagwa ibana mbotu jismulima parents.
Tigago, turombati kabazumarana kutugwa tugatwe usumpula bana besu. Mubukale alimu amurwiyo amuntu yonse yandika kujitiga katwenda alimu ambabo.
The Holy Family is implementing the 5-year project and highlights some of the achievements scored so far.
As a project, really, we're looking at capacity building of different players within the ZECREP project. And for the parents, for example, we've done capacity building for them in form of trainings. They've been trained on how to interact with their children with disabilities. We've also engaged experience sharing with the parents and other stakeholders. So in one of the experience sharing, we took the parents to Rusangi University just to learn the basics on entrepreneurship, in particular tomato plantation.
But more calls have been made for the government to do more to better the lives of persons with disabilities.
Some of our children with disabilities, where they are coming from, or even at school, they are crawling on the ground when going to the toilet, and you find that some of those places are not so hygiene. They are not good environment for a child to crawl. So my cry to the government or any other stakeholder out there who is in the position of providing interventions for these our children, please come on board. We need each other. I believe each and every little step that each stakeholder plays a very important role in the life of our children with disabilities.
Frederick Macha for Zanis News in Monze District, Southern Province.
Former pupils from Luanshya Boys Secondary School have donated a solar-powered borehole valued at 60,000 kwacha to the school. More in the following report.
To increase access to clean water and improved sanitation, the alumni of Luanshya Boys Secondary School has donated a solar-powered borehole valued at 60,000 kwacha to benefit over 900 learners. Alumni Secretary made the donation on behalf of the former pupils who graduated from the school during the 80s and early 90s.
I feel it in us because this is a school that built us. We are where we are now, doing whatever little things we do because we passed through here.
Luanshya District Commissioner graced the occasion.
As a government, we are often delighted to see various partners and individuals coming on board to supplement our efforts in the quest to provide quality education. We have made the doors more open than ever so that
The donation has cheered the school management and pupils.
I want to sincerely thank you for this gesture of love that you have shown to your former school. You have demonstrated to us and the boys here what it really means to live for others. The spirit that you have installed in this school is beneficial to us in such a way that we will have continuous running water in school. This will help us to receive quality education in a conducive environment.
Karen Mushenywa, Zanis, Luansha District.
Government has pledged to continue working with the church in improving the welfare of citizens in the country. Ministry of Information and Media Permanent Secretary Kennedy Kalunga says young people in the church should form cooperatives in order for them to access some of the empowerment programs that government is providing. Mr. Kalunga said this when he officiated at the enrollment service of the Boys Brigade Company at St. Matthew's United Church of Zambia UCZ congregation in Lusaka today. The Permanent Secretary indicated that the government will remain committed in providing opportunities for the boy child in order for them to realize their dreams. Mr. Kalunga added that government will continue to work with the church in improving the welfare of the citizens in the country by providing opportunities for young people. And St. Matthew's UCZ Olympia congregation, Reverend Aaron Semokonda, noted the need to empower and protect the boy child as he too is in danger just like the girl child.
Government and the church have always been partners in the national development. Government will continue working with the church in improving the welfare of the citizen. For the boy child, government remains committed for providing various opportunities for the boys to realize their ambition in life. This includes free education, which has made it possible for the boy child, like the girl child, to go to school without worrying or dropping out of school on account of failure to pay school fees. I am informed that the 17th BB company not only has a brass band as a fundraising venture, but also has started a farming project. I therefore encourage St. Matthew's UCZ leadership to help the Boys Brigade in forming cooperatives so that they can access some of the empowerment funds from government.
Our energy is so much on the girl child. The boy child is also vulnerable. We have left the boy child in the sun to fend for himself. And sometimes the boy child is doing all sorts of things because the emphasis is on the girl child. Yes, people argue and say the girl child is more vulnerable. We must rise to the occasion and balance up things. I am not saying abandon the girl child. I am saying as you look after the girl child, make sure that you also look out for the boy child because he's equally in danger. The cases of Sodom, I think they are more on the side of the boy child. The boy child. So let us be vigilant.
Also in the news, President Hakainde Hichilema's recent visit to the Copper Belt province has cheered stakeholders in Lufanyama's emerald mining sector. Agrippa Selumbwe reports that stakeholders have expressed positive sentiments in separate interviews.
Lufanyama is home to the mining giants in the production of emeralds in Zambia and beyond Africa. But the beneficiation of these endowments have been a source of concern, especially among the locals for many years.
The area that is very rich in terms of emeralds, and we, unfortunately, out of the 400 plus mining licenses that have been issued in the area, we only have less than 10% that are operational.
To this effect, President Hakainde Hichilema was recently in Fanyama district, where he gave an assurance that government will ensure many locals start benefiting from the mine proceeds.
If you can't find partners, we will help you to find partners, because you cannot be complaining when you are sitting on wealthy, both in the soil and also in the stones that are here. The mines are going to be engaged, including Kajem, to employ local people as much as possible.
And stakeholders in the emerald sector have described the president's pronouncements as progressive.
The host communities do not fully benefit from the host companies by creating opportunities to them, and the head of state really gave us a lot of massive hope when he said that, number one, government is coming in to sustain the industry by helping them, bringing in investors and partners. We also get a lot of benefits from the auction sales conducted by local firms. We believe, hope and trust that is coming will bear fruits just soon.
Lufanyama is among the mining towns where President Hakainde Hichilema recently visited on the Copperbelt province. Reporting, I'm Agrippa Silumbwe.
The Teaching Service Commission has raised concern over the continued indiscipline among teachers who are in the habit of excessive drinking and abuse of social media. Chairperson Daphne Chimuka notes that some teachers also borrow beyond their means, a situation which is not only embarrassing but also affecting the learning outcome in schools. More in the following report.
A meeting to discuss issues in the education sector. Representatives from different teacher unions have gathered to discuss critical issues affecting their members at a Secondary Teachers Union of Zambia Council that was held in Kabwe Central Province. Chairperson of the Teaching Service Commission, Daphne Nawa, is the guest of honor.
Government is concerned with the rising incidences of teacher indiscipline. That in a school where there is indiscipline, where teachers are indisciplined, there cannot be real learning. And therefore, the learning outcomes will be poor. Why are we getting issues of teacher indiscipline through social media? Where are the channels that are established for a head teacher to report to the DEBs, to report to the PO, to report to... I know it's a long channel, but if we were all working efficiently, these cases will be dealt with within 6 months of it occurring.
Ministry of Education Permanent Secretary Joel Kamoko says procedure should be followed when addressing issues of disciplinary.
The call for worker education being the key thing, and I think we need to agree that a lot of our teachers coming on board now know very little about procedures, communication, grievance handling, and many a time they communicate with anyone. It can be the PS, the minister, the head of state. It is fine, but procedurally are not helping the system. Start where you are in your school. Write to your head. Follow up to DEBs. Follow up to PO. The advantage of that is that each authority is aware of what your complaint is. And when you're writing, you make sure that the person who didn't answer you or where you are disagreeing receives your complaint.
The Zambia Congress of Trade Unions has cautioned union leaders to avoid infighting, which often leads to formation of splitter groups.
CTU, we want to see that there's dialogue taking place, even among ourselves. We as a Congress are not going to support splinter unions. Splinter unions are not doing a service to the members, but we want to commercialize our union movement. We want to see unions engaging, not where we are dividing ourselves. But wait a minute, where do we have these divisions coming from? Where do we have these splinter unions coming from? It's because we fail to reach on the table of dialogue.
Earlier, the Secondary Teachers Union of Zambia shared some of the concerns in the education sector.
The free education policy, however, has its own challenges which governments need to look into. There is pressure on the already existing infrastructure and furniture. As a result, there has been congestion in classes, which poses a health risk to both pupils and teachers. Needless to say, teachers are also overwhelmed with the task of handling huge numbers in classes. We would like to urge government to urgently consider building more schools to curb this problem. As a union, we have observed with regret that rural-urban migration in the education sector has been a continuous setback to the provision of equal opportunities in the educational sector.
Shupekile Nkonika for Zanis in Kabwe Central Province.
Teachers in the country and Kasama in particular have been advised to be financially self-reliant. Kasama District Education Standards Officer Johnny Tamulenga made the appeal during the United Teachers Union of Zambia social event aimed at sharing ideas on financial literacy. More in the following report.
Teacher unions exist to support teachers with better working conditions and protecting the interests of teachers. Like other teacher unions, the United Teachers Union of Zambia, UNITAS, which was formed in 2020, is focused on ensuring that its members are empowered. In Kasama District, UNITAS organized a social event for both members and non-members aimed at sharing ideas on financial literacy as well as recruiting new members. Kasama District Education Standards Officer Jonita Mlenga graced the event.
This union also advocates for transparency. This means all members in UNITAS are not just mere members, but they are shareholders. Thirdly, innovativeness. This is where the union shows its strength to empower its members with various projects so as to realize its own outfit motto, money back to the teachers.
The union also brought on board financial lending institutions like Zanaco and Unify to help the teachers with financial literacy.
The new Dawn government has policies to empower civil servants through cooperatives and other initiatives. So the union's policies, which are seen here, are in line with the policies of the government of the day.
UNITAS Women Affairs Director explains that the vision of the union is to give money back to the teachers.
Our vision really is to give money back to the teachers. The question can be asked to say, how do we give money back to the teachers? So we do actually give money back to the teachers through empowerment, also capacity building in the professional matters.
The social event was characterized with entertainment from members and cultural groups. Helen Walia for Zanis in Kasama, Northern Province.
Zambia Flying Doctor Service has treated over 400 settlers diagnosed with malaria in 3 villages in Mukamba, Lufubu, and Katotoma in Chief Mwatakazembe's area of the Lunda people of Luapula province. Zambia Flying Doctors Service Medical Officer Gift Chiobeka disclosed that the team tested a population of over 800 clients with a catchment of 3 rural health centers. Here's a report.
The distribution of water bodies in Luapula province is one of the factors identified to be influencing the occurrence of high incidences of malaria. One of the districts with an upsurge of malaria instances is Mwansabombo district, whose occurrence instances stand at 938 incidences of malaria per 1,000 population as of the last quarter. Zambia Flying Doctor Service Medical Director Gift Chiobeka shares his observation from the 3 health facilities service so far in the last 3 days.
We have tested about 800 plus patients for malaria and more than 50% of those had malaria. But if I'm to be specific to one facility in Mukamba which we started with,
A team from the institution has been dispatched in the district to offer specialized medical services. Meanwhile, the institution has also donated materials and medicine to manage case management of malaria and outbreak of cholera.
Flying doctors, since when you came in, you have come in to deliver the healthcare services very closer to our community. As you can see, most of the centers, they are far away from the only district hospital that we have here, Beresh.
We are happy to donate a few items that I believe will go a long way. Items such as granular chlorine. As you know, cholera prevention is very key.
Mansawambo district has recorded 55 cumulative confirmed cases of cholera as of January 2023. The Health District Office, in partnership with the Zambia Flying Doctor Service, has so far serviced 8 out of 12 fish camps identified as the hot spot. Violet Tembo, reporting for Zanis in Mansawambo district.
Finally, in Eastern Province, Lusangazi District Commissioner Mike Tembo has expressed disappointment with the behavior of a named traditional leader who is allegedly undressing women and touching their bodies in exchange for land in Chizie village. Mr. Tembo, who visited the area on a fact-finding mission, has called for the arrest of the traditional leader who ran away after seeing a government vehicle. He said performing rituals of making a woman strip naked in the bush and caress in exchange for land was a criminal offense and the culprit must face the law. The named victims confirmed being subjected to rituals by the traditional leader, saying he gave them some herbs to use while their eyes were closed so that their husbands did not find out what transpired in the bush. The victims are tied with some fiber on their waists and later threatened not to disclose what has transpired as they would die or run mad. They kept the secret until when they started experiencing strange hallucinations, as they claimed that the traditional leader was visiting them in their dreams, and they have asked governments to intervene in the matter. Chapter 87, Section 131 of the laws of Zambia stipulates that touching a person without his or her consent is indecent assault and attracts a sentence of over 5 years. As we end the news, we have a recap of the stories that made headlines. Houses collapse in Kabompo district. Over 300 persons living with disabilities benefit from community-based rehabilitation program. Teaching Service Commission concerned with indiscipline among teachers. Traditional leader allegedly performing rituals on women in exchange for land. That's all we had for you on the Zanis News Desk. To make a date with us next time. On behalf of the production team, this has been Mwangala Kapandola. Thank you for watching.